Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
McGarvey on the bottom, 46. Dallas Sullivan has the room to push here. 80 car shoving hard. There's the block. There's the block into the outside wall. 746 wrecking now. 80 car maybe having to move. There's the block again. Oh. BTDY live from Kansas Motor Speedway. Drivers Network America bringing you flag-to-flag coverage. Race number 6. We're going to go wall riding here in the daylight. The Dialed In Racing 100. And this track looks like it's pretty greasy. Outside line's going to be the one that prevails, I think, here as they go through the midway. Hopefully we get a lot of green flag laps. It looked a little loose. I did put down some laps out there, Eric, and it was, some of these guys like it that way, but it felt really loose on exit for the first couple laps.
Yeah, this track typically, like I said, around the high line, depending on the setup, it can get loose really on entry or exit. Sounds like it might be getting loose on exit tonight, but one of the better Miata has, if I do say so myself, the home track to me, so I might be a little biased, but typically it's a driver's track, you know, really wrangling on the car to get where you want. And it can be frustrating getting trapped behind a guy running that top line, but you kind of build momentum towards the center off the corners, and might see even some slide jobs tonight, but it should be a bunch of fun.
Track position is going to be crucial here tonight. You're going to want to qualify up there in that top 10. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself mid-pack for quite some time. Getting around somebody on the inside might take you 5 or 6 laps to complete it. And you could end up in the outside wall. Trying to push it too hard, it's going to scrub your speed and scrub your tires off. So the longer you do that, the more chance you take at running those tires down. Coming up on the end of the green here, just getting wrapped up with qualifying. Drivers Network America has been bringing you all these races, flag to flag. So what you guys can do out there, hit that share button, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Helps us with that algorithm. Helps us make YouTube think we know what we're doing. And here we go, getting ready to grid. Down here on pit road. And it's no surprise, 31 car. Qualifying on the pole, Alex Pelican with a 31.15. To the outside, Anthony Pelican, 0.02 of a second off of that time. So these Pelican boys look like they're going to do it again as they start up there in the top 2, 1 and 2. Is anybody this season going to have anything for them in the qualifying or the race? Let's go back here to third position. Josiah Vincent, number 3 car to his outside. You got the 19. Hello from the 19 pit. That's Eric Lambert. 5th position, 54 car. Daniel Cunningham to his outside. The Bear Claw, 6th position. Dennis Faircloth in that 80 machine. Alan Dice, decent starting for him tonight. 7th position with Cody Atkins to his outside. Actually, we got the 7 of Nick Starling in 8th position, so my grid was a little off. We got Cody Atkins behind that. And then rounding out your top 10, 13 car, Jordan Scheffler. 11th position is going to be the 00, Kevin McGarvey. And then Kyle McGarvey in the 42 to his outside. 97 car, Jacob Locklear with Dennis Steele to the outside of him. 28 machine. 33 of Mark Beverly, a little far back here tonight. Dallas Sullivan there on his outside. Kyle M. Payne with Timmy Emanuel in the next row. Emanuele, I apologize. Still working on that one. And then Brett Sommers in the 77 car with Robert Gilmore running out the top 20. Jeremiah Vincent starting a little far back here tonight, but he does like to pass cars. It's going to be a tough place to do it. You see the 26 car to the outside. Very far back, out of character for the Nick Gardner machine with the 12 car to his outside. We got a car not taking grid yet. This will mess with my timing and scoring a little bit. I believe the 11 car was held up there in the pits. But Michael Newman, Thomas Brendel, and that 11 car of Greg Wells not taking the grid. So we actually got through the whole field tonight, Eric. And are you proud of me?
Yeah, you know, we even got a little bit bigger of a field tonight. It's always good to see.
Approximately 26 cars here. Justin Carey, Jordan Brockell, and Lane Sulfridge out there somewhere. Sometimes it's hard to get through the field when some cars don't leave or they all leave at once and things get a little shuffled around. But here we go. BTDY getting ready to go green. Dialed in Racing 100. Live at Kansas, and the green flag is out. There they go. And we got the 34 car spinning the start right out the gate. A accordioned about 3 cars back there. Looks like the 21 machine. Justin Carey might have got stuck behind him there on that start, but back up front, it's side by side. You can see how loose this machine is already. They're going to come off of turn 4, and we're going to get a big scope on the whole field. Back here side by side, Alan Dice, Dennis Faircloth. Shuffling around for position.
We know the top line is going to be dominant tonight, but on these restarts, be interested to see how long you guys are going to try to make that bottom work. On a restart, and everyone's not up to speed yet, you can make that work. After about probably 3 or 4 laps, you'll see everyone make their way to the top.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to be a product of tire saving. If you run that bottom for too long, you're going to find yourself losing ground. Even on the high line, you're going to see a gap, pull out. You see the 80 car already making up some ground work in that bottom, though. Side by side with the 54 right to the corner. Daniel Cunningham stuck on that outside. And there's the slide jobs you were talking about. He's going to slide up in front of the 54, and he will get a run, but he can't take it to the inside. He won't complete this pass.
Yeah, that's probably what we're going to see. Any guys starting on that inside line, trying to make up as many positions as possible in the first couple laps before they slide up and kind of hold their position there. So, it'll be difficult to pass, probably, but when you have that inside line on the restarts, it'll give you a little bit of an advantage trying to get past some guys.
Right on board with Dennis Faircloth. He was making that inside work, but now, as you can see, a little loose off, lost some ground in the 98. He's taking it all the way to the bottom here in 3 and 4. Now, initially, you're going to get that drive in. I think that if you could get to his door, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think you really want to get that run into the corner and try to defend on exit, but we'll have to see what works best for these guys tonight. If you can get on the corner, a quarter rather, you might be able to get a run, but it's hard to say, and we'll have to see him as he goes to the bottom here, trying to maybe block that 19.
Eric Lambert starting to run that bottom line as well. You see him come off of turn 4, though. It seems like they're pretty single filed out.
Yeah, no surprise there. 19 is trying to make that bottom work. If I had to guess, it might be a little tough on the front of the tires, or front tires rather.
Yeah, that right front's going to cook if you keep it down there for too long. Middle line might be a better way to go about it. I don't know. 80 car Faircloth diving it down. And some of these guys are probably just trying to get air on that front end, because when you get trapped behind somebody and take that entry, it's kind of hard to judge it, and you have a little bit more speed. You can actually overshoot the corner and end up wall riding through 1 and 2, 3 and 4. It's just, once you get stuck up there, you can't get off of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You'd rather maybe run just a little bit slower than what you probably think you can, but if you make a mistake, then it's just going to kill your run.
There's a 19 to the inside of Faircloth now. He got the nose in there. Another byproduct of wall riding. Everybody's single filed out like this. If a car does get into the wall, there's a good chance that he's going to take 3 or 4 with him, because those guys are running the exact same line as you are, and it's very hard to pull it down, lift off the throttle, and predict that.
Yeah, it's something we just saw right there. With that high line, you're going to get a better run off the corner. But if you're trying to defend against a guy, you're going to give up so much time on entry to center. We saw the 19 slide up from the 80. I think he is faster, so it's not really matter in this case. But, if you're trying to defend a guy, you might even slow yourself down trying to run that middle line just so they can't slide up. You can stay on that inside car's right quarter panel.
Actually backfired for the 54. Daniel Cunningham was trying to make a pass on Josiah, and then 7 car able to get by. Nick Starling on the outside now.
Yeah, the inside line. If you have no experience running down there, just early in the race, might catch you off a little bit by surprise, just how much slower it is. We see a car behind him that 5 car. Alan Dice might be able to get a run here. 54 is going to slide up and block it, but he doesn't. A little bit surprising. I don't know if he finds the inside line a little more comfortable or maybe he's trying to save tires. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you'd really want to slide up right there and try to block the 5.
Well, the 5 car is going to get this run. Maybe the 54 knows that something's not quite right, and he's just going to let these guys go. Maybe reel them back in later. It is good to see the 11 laps in, clean and green. And based off of the practices, you can never judge how these guys are going to drive these cars because they take them in there, then they shoot them deep and drive it to the end. And they pretty much find the limit, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the inside line is going to be a little bit safer on the rear tires, but you're definitely going to be using up that right front that we spoke about earlier. Now you see that 7 go to the inside of the 3 of Josiah Vincent here. Josiah started in 2nd. All right, faded back to 5th, and now getting challenged for that. Maybe either had his real fast qualifying lap, or maybe trying to save his tires a little bit here early in the run.
Big run off of 2, able to clear the 7. I tell you what, the longer these guys run down there on that bottom, you're going to see some of these guys fading out. You see Faircloth back on the inside of the 19. This top 5 working hard. Someone's trying to get to 5th position.
You know, how many times have we talked about this? Really, 4th to 10th position almost. Just how tight the racing has been at almost every track we've gone to. Now the air car is kind of stuck on the inside line. Yeah.
Very loose off of 2, and it looked like he was maybe going to slide up into the 3 car, so he had to pull it down, and that's not going to be good on that right front either.
Kind of like what we talked about in Iowa. The guys on the inside line, a little bit different there, obviously, but kind of the same concept. Cranking on that wheel a lot harder on the inside line. It's going to be difficult on their tires.
Seems like after the apex is... Oh, there's contact. 80 car down to the inside, locking it down. Great save for the 80, though.
Great job keeping it off the wall.
See if we can go back and figure out what happened there. Looked like the 3 car maybe bounced the wall a little bit. I'm not sure.
Yeah, tough to say. They were side by side. I'm not sure who did what.
Oh, 3 car, I think, clipped the wall and pulled it off.
Yeah,
We're back
right.
one more time.
No contact there, and yeah. You know, a lot of times that wall can really suck you to it. So you put really more left turn into the wheel than what you need to. And I think you saw that he came down a little bit farther than probably what Faircloth was expecting and just made contact there. Great save by Dennis Faircloth, came off the inside wall. Unfortunately, he's going to lose a bunch of track position for it.
Yeah, Faircloth went from about the 5th position all the way back to 22nd. He's now racing side by side with a 34 machine of Thomas Brendel. Faircloth's got a lot of work to do to get back up there, but I tell you what, that inside line might work a little bit better getting around some of these guys now.
Yeah, and you know, just how many times have we spoke about him in a race. It was a good qualifying effort. Just had bad luck throughout the race, and car looks all right. He should be able to get back up there with the speed he has, but man, it's just been a tough season for him.
Yep, every week, man, we talk about this 80 machine. He's up in the top 5, and here he finds himself about 20 positions back. 34 car in the wall just now. Thomas Brendel overshot that entry just a little bit. Got the right front a little angry. You know, unusual, Michael Newman did really well at our restrictor plate tracks. We talked about his name a lot. And then little hiatus. He did really well at Cali. I think he did great at Auto Club. But we've been at some of these tracks now. I think that Iowa was one of those Achilles heels. But Michael Newman, I think we need to get him back on a restrictor plate track. He seems to do really well when it comes to pushing and running in traffic.
Yeah, you know, it's been exciting to see the different drivers in this field. I think, what car was that?
Wow.
Somebody got upset right there. Oh, it was Dennis Faircloth. The car was way down the apron on that entry.
We might go back and look at that as well. This is not a caution. I know that's the only overlay I have, but we were just talking about Michael Newman And I believe the 34 car got up into the wall right in front of him. No, the 80 car, and he had to swerve down to avoid it.
Issue off the corner. I don't know if he got tight or loose or what happened there, but yeah. Great avoidance by a 12 car.
So a lot of shuffling going on back here. This is for the top 20. Through the field, we still got the Pelican brothers up front. 31 car, about half a second ahead of his brother here. 98 of Anthony Pelican. And these guys have just been the class of the field. It's more of the same. 3 car. I'm waiting for that 9 car to get up there.
Yeah, over 4 seconds on Josiah Vincent in third, just pulling away from the field.
We did see the 3 car get a little contact there with the 80 earlier. And that might be a part of the issue. You might have a little bit of left front damage. I don't see it here on this camera angle. Trying to get as close as I can. It looks like that machine's okay. 7 car just clipped the wall.
Yeah, a little left front damage shouldn't hurt you too bad here. But, man, if you drag that right side, the right side's so sensitive. Even behind a car, you know, it'll help a little bit being behind a car, but you really want to keep that right front clean. And it's so easy to get into the wall running this close. The car is going to swing from tight to loose on the run, and man, it's just so easy to damage that right side, and you really need to avoid that here to be fast at the end.
Sometimes psychological damage too after you clip a car or clip the wall, and you start to see that gap get bigger and bigger. You start to think, well, I don't know how damaged this thing really is, and you start to change your line or overdrive it. You're trying to compensate, and that hurts it even more. So there's a lot of after effects from just touching the wall or touching a car.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As soon as you get into the car or get into the wall, you might be thinking, man, I'm done, and it just kills your momentum for the run.
54 car back at it here, looking to the inside of Nick Starling. Cunningham looks like he might be able to slide down through here. Through this corner, this exit, he's got the speed.
I've seen him really favor that inside line. I'm kind of surprised, but we'll have to pay attention to him on this run and see if it benefits him in any way. And I'm sure if it does, and other guys in the field will be watching that and making notes.
Broadcasted a couple other races here at Kansas and other leagues, and there was very few people that ran the bottom, and it seemed like any car, truck, A car, B car, doesn't matter. It seems like everyone wants to run the top line, and the very few people that do run the bottom, they've practiced it so much that it's within a tenth or two of the rest of the drivers. Now, the other benefit that I found is some of these guys will win the fuel mileage battle because they're going shorter around the track. And that could add up over the course of a race. That's maybe 3-4 laps that you could go a little bit further than everyone else. And if this turns out to be a fuel battle, watch out for that 54 car.
Yeah, you know what makes the top so fast is being able to pick up that throttle way earlier. And to your point, doing that is using a lot more fuel. You know, it reminds me of Bristol a little bit. I'm not sure in the latest builds, but at least in the Gen 6 Cup car, the inside line was a lot slower, but man, if you ran that for 20, 30, 40 laps, you saved so much of your tires that you could haul right back by people. So it's unfortunate everything kind of has Kansas set up to be top dominant, but it makes it fun as a driver. But man, when you can't pass somebody, it just makes it so frustrating. And the bottom line, you know, really should be a lot faster than it is, but
well,
you know, it's just kind of
they always label the sister tracks, and you know, you would think Chicagoland or you know, the intermediate D-shaped ovals. Chicago is very similar to this track. Kentucky is very similar to this track. But you would never think that Darlington would be the sister track to this racetrack, because that's essentially how they're getting around this place. They're wall riding around every lap.
Yeah, but it's really just one line around here. It's pretty unfortunate, but see Anthony Pelican make a little bit of time up to Alex here. He's getting a good run off too right now. I think Alex had a lift off that corner, and you can see him get super close to his bumper here.
31 of Anthony or Alex Pelican got a little bit loose. Anthony Pelican looking to the inside now. Get some air on that nose, and you can see that 31 struggling a little bit on the exits. And this is what I thought would happen. This thing is loose on exit, for sure.
Seen him make contact there last race, final corner, final lap, and just probably saw the best finish we're going to see all season. But they said, you know, it's no big deal. We're not going to let it affect us. But I think when we're coming here to the final run, these guys are side by side, we might really see that was the truth, or if they're going to be making contact again.
There's nothing wrong with a rivalry when you share the same last name. Very few of these guys ever get to see each other in the garage area. These guys get to see each other in person. And I tell you what, the 31 of Pelican, Alex Pelican, is just, he's been on a rail every track we go to. And both of them are giving each other tips, teaching each other how to be fast. And if I'm Alex, I think I'd quit helping Anthony out. He seems to be a fast learner.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely comes a point where you're gonna quit telling your teammate how you're getting around here so quick. Yeah, I think they're at that point.
Daniel Cunningham running in third, and he's starting to take a little bit of a gap over the 3 car. Josiah is probably, I don't know, 2 seconds back now. And I would say that after that contact with the 80 car, that might have been the reason. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that he's just kind of backing it up a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I've raced with Josiah here a lot the past couple of years. And it's definitely, he's aggressive when he needs to be, and he can conserve when he needs to. So tough to say this early in the run. Might just be feeling out the car, and you know, he could have used it up early, and now he's trying to survive, or maybe he's, you know, saving tires and now trying to see what it gives him. But yeah, I think the second or third tire set, second or third run we get here, we'll probably see what he has for you know, true speed.
A little bit of racing going on behind. We got Dallas Sullivan working his way through the field. This guy's came up quick. 33 laps into the race. This guy started outside the top 15. Now he's all the way up to the 6th position, working on the back of the 7, Nick Starling. Now he has the preferred line going into 3.
Yeah, we could see just on entry how much the 7 gets an advantage. You know, entry to center, you almost, you pull completely in front of that 46 car, but now on exit, and a 46 gets such a run. Now we can see the 7 getting challenged by the 8.
Starling's losing a lot of ground here.
Yeah, 7 could pull up, but man, it's just so tight. You don't want to do that, especially, you know, lap 34, 100. He just gets such a good run on the inside, but just can't side up. 8's gonna pick up that throttle.
Contact. 7.
7's spinning.
He's got it locked down.
He's just gonna bring it to pit road.
I tell you what, that was a heads-up move to even make it to pit road, but let's go back and see that, because I think he was on that inside, couldn't get back to the throttle when he wanted to, and the guy behind him just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, man, he I don't know if he was coming to pit road, maybe?
Maybe he was. Maybe that was the whole plan. He was down to the inside. 42 was behind him.
Oh, it just looks like he hit the brakes right there. I think he was coming to pit road.
Well, he got it there, but not the way he wanted it. 42. Kyle McGarvey's got some front-end damage as well.
Yeah, damage from both those guys, unfortunately. Usually, you know, guys are calling out when it comes to pit road, and I don't know if Nick didn't come over the radio, or maybe probably didn't hear him, but yeah, that was definitely odd.
You can see the indentation. Look at the nose of that Toyota that's behind him, and then look at the back of this 7 car. It fits perfectly. 7 car going to pull it back down on the apron. Might be parking it behind the wall for tonight. 34 car just coasting down to the inside. Didn't want to
24,
interfere, I
10.
think, with their entry, but he is, I believe the 7 car is going to pull it behind the wall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him, man. It's just a freak accident there, and tough night.
The Kyle
Got a,
McGarvey riding on board. Sorry, he was the other end of that, and just trying to get a look at the front of that machine to see if he's got any nose damage, and it looks like the 7 got most of it, but there is a little bit there.
Yeah, 7 definitely got the worst of that. I'm really surprised there isn't more nose damage on the 42. See, we got a change for the lead, actually. Anthony Pelican made a pass, and now Alex Pelican is coming down on pit road.
31 car probably setting up his pit road entry and just kind of let him go.
Oh, we got a spin behind him on entry. Who was that? Cody Atkins is around.
We got 2 cars around, the 40 car as well. Robert Gilmore spun out, coming on the entrance of pit road.
Man.
If we can go back and find that, we're going to have to rewind it a little bit.
8 just got loose on his own. Really no help there. And the 40... I mean, it's the same thing.
Ooh, inside wall for him.
Fortunately, Gilmore hit that inside wall. Man, what a odd sequence of events. You don't really, at least in my opinion, you don't really think about Kansas being one of the difficult pit road entrances. But you know, we haven't seen a whole lot of green flag pit stops so far in the league, and you know, no matter where you go, it's challenging. But you know, you don't really expect Kansas to be one of the most challenging entries, but
well, I think these guys are just pushing it, trying to make up that track position. It's so crucial here. It's so tough to pass. So you're thinking, I'll get down here on pit road as quick as possible, and you lock that front end up, and well, there goes your race, or you know, you're a lap down. And a lot of these guys have found themselves on the opposite end of that. 31 car pitted, 98 car coming back out, 9 car Jeremiah Vincent, your leader right now. Having a slight connection issue, but I think the 9 car might be staying out a little too long. He's got the 31 right behind him, and he is blinking, so I'm going to switch over because we're having some connection issues with the 9. But look how fast this 31 car is just going to go to the inside. Down the straightaway, he's going to clear him.
Yeah, you can see a huge difference on there. I think the 9's probably coming to pit road right now. Yeah, I think he's maybe just wanting to stay out, get that lap left for the bonus point there. And
look how slippery it is down there.
Yeah, he's cranking right on a wheel. Man, I guess pit road is a lot harder to get on than what you would expect, but
maybe the 7 car blew a oil line going down there into pit road.
Yeah, must have been.
That leaves Jacob Locklear, and he's the last car that has not pitted. V-Speed 97, probably going to bring it in this time by. See him dropping down to the bottom. Let's ride on board with him, see how slippery. It's slick down there, but he did it better than most of them.
Yeah, you could tell he was aggressive, but still under the limit. I think once you get down that flat part, you know, when you're hard in that brake pedal, the rear end really wants to come around, I think.
Bovine saying they must have slicked the entrance to pit road. I think the 7 car blew an oil line. I really do. Track officials probably going to look down there at the entrance of pit road, make sure that they don't need any track dry. But meanwhile, Locklear hits pit road. 31 car figures it out. Gets back ahead of Anthony Pelican. So new leader this time by 31. Alex Pelican back up front. And he's got about half a second advantage after that pit stop.
Yeah, you don't see Dallas Sullivan real close on these guys. Made up a lot of time in that pit sequence. Don't know if he pit earlier, but he's right on the tail of Anthony Pelican. See if he can stay on through this run. We saw Anthony gain a bit of time later in the run on Alex last time, so we'll have to pay attention to that, and maybe he can get by him again this time.
A lot of different things that you can change on these fixed setups. Steering ratio is one of them. And I think at a track like this, you'd probably want like a 12-to-1 ratio with how sensitive this thing can be on the line.
Yeah, you know, I've always been a 14-to-1 kind of guy. And, you know, in the Xfinity car and really in the Gen 6 Cup car. But I think at a track like this, what's going to be most sensitive is your brake bias. If the setup, you know, isn't to your liking, you can't really do much center off. But man, on entry, if you crank that brake bias way to the rear, then it can really loosen up your entry and let you carry a bit more speed through there. But you gotta think, just like we've seen with all the pit road entrance troubles, if you have your brake bias cranked to the rear, when you get on that brake pedal, especially in that flat part, man, the rear's just gonna spin right around. And you know, talking about it, maybe some of these guys have had a little too much rear brake into it, and we've seen them spin out on pit road entrance.
Definitely a different type of battle here with everyone running the same setups, but the guys that are doing it the best right now, 31, Alexander Pelican, Anthony Pelican. About a second back, and then Dallas Sullivan up in the top 3, 46 machine, putting on a show tonight, and he's not far off, so he got down pit road very well. Daniel Cunningham in the 54, running in the 4th spot. He's moved up a bit. He's not driving that bottom like we saw earlier. Seems to be favoring that outside line again.
Yeah, we've seen him pretty fast here in the last couple of races. And, you know, I haven't seen anybody as fast as the Pelican brothers, but man, 54 car we've talked about a lot inside his top 5. You know, getting outran by Dallas Sullivan, who's been fast, maybe not shown the speed he's shown here tonight in 3rd, but 54 car, I think he might be learning something trying to get to these Pelican brothers.
Well, I would classify Dallas in that same kind of finding everyone else's issues category as Dennis Faircloth. You know, Sullivan has a fast car. He just can't finish with it. Something always happens to him.
I saw he's a really good plate racer, really aggressive. We're talking about a whole bunch through the beginning of the season. He's definitely finding his pace here tonight. Kansas, he's dropped off a lot from Anthony, so I think he pitted a little bit earlier. But, you know, right behind him, this 54 car we were talking about. And Josiah Vincent, it's been a couple races since we've seen him, I believe, but good speed here tonight, holding that top 5, had a great qualifying effort. And right behind him, Nick Gardner, we spoke about, didn't really have the greatest qualifying effort, but he's making his way back up here to 6th. He seems to be probably the 3rd or 4th fastest car this season, I would say.
He was leading the points there at one point, had a great Daytona. About a 3rd or 4th place finish. I can't remember. I believe it was in the top 5 for sure at Auto Club. And he's been the top 10 contender every week. Glad to see he rebounded from that qualifying run because he was back there in that about the 19th, 20th position to start this thing off. That's a lot of work at a place like this.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Part of a dialed in racing team. Just talk about dialed in, man. They're dialed in.
Well, they're sponsoring the race tonight, so they better be. Make that sponsor happy. 42 Kyle McGarvey running in the 7th spot. We saw that little contact there with the 7 of Starling, and still a little left front damage. Yeah, when we're under green like this, you don't have time to stay on pit road and fix it.
Yeah, really surprised he didn't have worse damage. You saw how bad the rear end of Nick Starling was, and really caved in. But 42 just don't know if he got a little something on that nose or what. But man, he got the lucky end of that. Still holding good pace there in 7th.
Looks like he's supporting the Marine Corps there on the left panel. And then you got Sailor Magic on the sides of that machine and the 00 as well. So the McGarvey brothers getting around really well for the 42, and let's drop back here to Alan Dice, who's shown some speed. He's been consistent. Just had some mishaps here a couple weeks, but I think he's a top 10 contender for the points. And as we go through, I just want to say I'm very biased at the 5 car. That's the number that I prefer to run. So if I had to pick a number of all the cars on this track, I'm gonna say he's the underdog, and I want him to perform well here tonight. So Alan Dice, go get him. Good luck. Back here to the 9 car who stayed out longer than almost anyone else. I think the 97 stayed out a couple more laps than he did. Jeremiah Vincent trying to find some speed. He was a little off in qualifying. 3 car in the wall.
Fortunate to see as Ricardo's losing a bunch of spots. Must have been in that wall hard. I was just about to say, Jeremiah Vincent's kind of another top 5 car based on pace we've seen this season. But, you know, running 8th, not too bad. Just seems a little bit farther back than maybe what we would expect. As I say that, we got to pass through a lead. Anthony Pelican go to the inside of Alex.
Seems like the 98 car is saving. Don't think he cleared him quite. 31 got the nose back in there, but I think inevitably the 98 is going to work his way past him here in 3 and 4. Nicely done by the 98 of Anthony Pelican. But we were just talking about these different guys that have had the speed. They have great starting effort, or they have a really solid race. But you have to have just a perfect race. These two right here seem to be on their own planet, on their own level right now. What does it take to beat a couple guys like this?
Yeah, obviously, class of the field, man. Yeah, we just really haven't seen anyone else be able to challenge these guys. I think you're going to have to find a weakness of theirs, or just come to a track where you're really good at, put into practice. But either way, man, I mean, 5 seconds on the field, it's just, you know, you can put all the practice you want, but to be able to hold 5 seconds, you know, in a run, it's going to take a little bit more to practice, I'd say.
The sixth sense that some of these guys have, the natural talent that you can harness. You can have all the natural talent you want, but if you don't have the track time, that's where 90% of this is coming from. These guys have just probably turned thousands of laps at every track. They've been out here. It takes a lot of time. You don't get fast overnight. You can be fast for a couple laps, but to do that consistently, a lot of times put in. Top 3 looking good. Dallas Sullivan, a couple seconds more back than the last time we talked about him. Through the field a little bit deeper, we do have the 19 car rounding out your top 10. He's getting a little racy now with Josiah Vincent, and it's looking like the 39 of Timmy Emanuele snagged that spot from him just before we talked about him. Emanuele, the tire king. This guy knows how to save him or use him late. He'll take a gamble when no one else will and stay out to get track position. Hasn't had that opportunity here today as we've ran almost 60 laps cleaning green. 41 to go. Emanuele finds himself up there in 8th position now.
Yeah, we haven't seen that tire saving strategy work for him yet, but obviously, you know, if he doesn't have the speed, you know, doesn't have race winning speed, a lot of times tire strategies can help and get you up there. So certainly applaud him for trying that. And like you said, you know, 60 green flag laps, you're not going to be able to try any tire strategy tonight. Definitely want to take fresh tires every pit stop on the green flag laps, but it's a good pace for him, running 9th so far.
That puts him outside the top 10, and Locklear just behind Josiah. V-Speed Machine is on a different pit strategy than the rest of the field. He's got a couple lap fresher tires, and that's probably helping him here as the run progresses. These guys getting worn off, and he's still able to click a couple tenths faster, even on the bottom now for that Mustang. And I think Locklear is going to pull off a top 10 here if he can keep this race green. '77 car coming down pit road. We got a new taker. This is be the second round of green flag pit stops. So Somers would have pitted in about the 13th position. I think he's going to be the first car down pit road for the second round.
Yeah, it should be final round as well. A little bit early being the first one here, but you know, get it back out there, hope for a caution within a few laps to be able to stay out, get that track position. But should be good to go.
38 laps left. He should be good on fuel, but those tires will be a little worn off compared to everybody else. Depending on how far these guys push it, You could have a 6-7 lap difference on tires, and that could be 4 or 5 tenths by the end of the run.
Yeah, no, saying I guess we'll be able to stay out front of the leader. It's about to say hope he might be hoping for a caution, but I think it was that close. I don't want to be caught a lap down. They should be able to stay in front of him. See there, Dennis Fairclough about to get lapped for right here by Anthony.
Fairclough, part of that issue there. Oh, and the 80 car clipped the wall in the entrance. He's going to wall ride. It's going to be tough. That machine's getting beat up. He was running up there in the top 5 to start this thing, and now he's finding himself struggling more and more.
You might just need to keep the camera off him for an entire race, and he might be able to get himself a top 5.
It's just so hard because we watch the leaders. He's always up there in the top 5, and even if the camera pans over him, it seems like something happens.
Yeah, he's had a great qualifying effort. Go here and check. Should be able to see his average qualifying. Just 1 second.
I'm sure it's up there in the 7 to 6 range. He's definitely had a great start to the season. Just got to seal the deal for Fairclough. And 98 car Anthony Pelican about 1.5 seconds ahead of Alex Pelican now. Oh, 80 car getting loose coming off of 4.
Yeah, it is Fairclough. Has an average start of 10. A little bit not as good as I was thinking, but still, we see him start up front. Even better than that, and just hasn't been able to get the finishes. So tough night for him, but I'm sure he'll have a good finish coming pretty soon.
I hate to do this to him, but I'm watching him struggle. Let's see this car coming off the exit. He is cranking that wheel the opposite direction a lot of this turn. See him chasing it up the bank, and that might be a product of some of that right front damage as well. Car's not got the speed to go through the corners, and he can get back on the throttle earlier than the apex.
Yeah, you can see a big crinkle in the right front. It's definitely not going to help. But
oh boy, close off the toe.
Right there. Yeah.
So we've had no other takers here on pit road quite yet. Locklear's worked his way up to the 11th position, just outside the top 10. He's got about a second difference between him and Eric Lambert in the 19 car. Emanuele started to pull away a little bit in the 9th spot. Nick Gardner having a quiet night as well. He just worked his way up through the field. Got up to 6th spot, and here he sits, about a second off of Jeremiah Vincent. Pretty far back, though, from the leaders, 13 seconds.
Yeah, probably not as close as we would expect him to be, but you can see Jeremiah Vincent on that little bit longer of a run. Saw him taking that first stop, and it's definitely paying dividends now, making his way up to the top 5. Probably put in fast lap times just about anybody here, aside from the 77 cars already pitted, but that's what that late pit stop would get you. You got some points up front. Now he's making his way up to the 5th position. If I was him, I'd be pitting maybe a little bit early this run. Now that he got in track position from staying out, you definitely don't want to run it long again, I wouldn't think. 30 to go. You have to pay attention to how many laps you've been out here and how long it took you to get back up to the top 5.
We've seen some of these guys are pulling it down pit road. Dallas Sullivan, he's down there right now. 28 car Dennis Steele as well. So that puts it at Gardner and Alan Dice up a position. Timmy Emanuele is up to 6th now. So a couple takers on pit road. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Dallas Sullivan did a heck of a job getting up there in that top 3. Let's see if he can hold on to it here. He might have got a pit road speeding penalty. I think he's being held currently.
Here. Yeah.
That's unfortunate because he was up there in the
exactly
top
right.
3.
Yeah. I see Alex Falcons on pit road now, but yeah, I think you're exactly right here. That just sucks. He was running fast, like you said. And
I believe it's a 40 seconds to hold on pit road or 20? I can't remember. It's an eternity.
40. Yeah, it feels like way longer. I think it's 40. Yeah, Alex came that last time by, and now we see Anthony taking it in this time. So about 1 lap difference between those cars. See, Alex took the lead early, but Anthony's been able to pick the pace up about mid-run and pass for the lead.
Alex probably pushing it a little bit harder on the entry to pit road. He's got a bigger gap this time, though. Last time it was about a half a second. This time around it was a second and a half. So there's going to be a lot more that he's going to have to make up on that entrance and exit to pit road.
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention to where he gets off compared to Alex.
Well, we're cycling through green flag pit stops, and Alan Dice, Kyle McGarvey. Looks like the 34 machine as well. We got about 27 left to go. Caution free so far this race. This is Drivers Network America, BTDY, here at Kansas. We're going to be right back after this commercial break.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Wrapping up green flag pit stops. We're back live, BTDY on Drivers Network America here at Kansas for the Dialed In Racing 100. Brought to you by Simulators Anonymous, V-Speed, Dialed In Racing, Sailor Tarot Magic, MS Sports, and I tell you what, man, we got a lot going on here with all these different tire strategies. I think Jacob Locklear is going to pull off a top 10. He's not going to be able to catch these guys. 21 to go. I don't think he's got enough, but he's the last one down pit road. And you're going to see how fast he gets through these. Some of these guys pitted with 30 to go. 10 lap difference on tires.
I'm really paying attention to Alex and Anthony here. Anthony's on 1 lap, fresh tires, but he's got about 2.2 seconds he needs to make up on Alex. He's got a big gaggle of cars right in front of him.
Yeah, a lot of these guys coming off pit road, and Locklear was part of that group. Watch how fast, even, I think it was lap 29 that the 31 machine came down pit road. Watch how fast this 97 will catch up to him.
Yeah, 97's in front of that mess, thankfully for him. On that inside line, make up a lot of time on the leader. Try to get his lap back here.
So put the 97 back in the lead lap, and then he can work on getting through these positions. He's in 13th, first car a lap down if we had a caution. But I tell you what, he's not wanting that right now because he's got the strategy working for him to get up in the top 10 if it goes green for the next 19. '31 car, Alex Pelican, about 2.5 seconds. He did a great job on and off pit road. Maybe a little problem for Anthony Pelican that pitted 1.5 seconds ahead of him 1 lap later. But Anthony was a little more conservative on his entry. We've seen a lot cleaner entry for the 98. We've seen some of these guys struggle to get on pit road. Very greasy down there. But I think you can kind of see, based off of our leaderboard, who's been struggling on pit road and who hasn't. Some of these guys, 3 laps down, 7 laps down. And some of the guys that are still trapped a lap down. Maybe a 1 or 2 second difference overall with the entry to pit road, and that can make all the difference when it goes green, right, Eric?
Yeah, I wish we had some kind of pit road entry and exit analysis. Fortunately, we don't, but saw Anthony Pelican run the inside line at 1:02 that last time by, which was a little bit surprising to me. But he's been kind of holding steady his last few laps. The last 2 runs, we've seen him really make up some time about halfway to the end of the line, or the run rather, and he does have a lap fresh of tires, I believe, but just holding steady, still about 2.4 seconds out. That's not what you want to see if you're him with only 16 to go.
Well, this is the thing that I'm thinking about now, based off of the previous runs. Alex Pelican stayed ahead of him for a good 19 laps before Anthony was able to just clear him. We don't have that much time left. So after these pit stops, it's going to meet up right about that time where Anthony was faster than Alex. But 2 seconds ahead, does he have enough time?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to traffic, really. You see Alex now has a bunch of 4 cars basically directly in front of him. Last time by, Anthony Pelican was about 3/10 faster. So he got some clean track, and now he's showing his speed, or Anthony's going to get a bit caught up in traffic. So it's just really a matter of who gets through this traffic faster.
Daniel Cunningham, after all that cycling with Dallas Sullivan getting a pit road speeding penalty, 54, finds himself back up in the top 3. Jeremiah Vincent, which is about, I'd say about 4 seconds back from him. He's found speed as of late here, staying out a little bit longer. He's kind of on that same strategy as the 97. But he's done a great job here tonight, making these tires work as long as he possibly could. And it's really unfortunate. Dallas Sullivan had a top 3 productive day. Just got that speeding penalty, so he's going to find himself a lap down currently, running in the... Oh boy, where's my time and his score working right now? I believe he's running in the 19th position.
Yeah, see Jeremiah, Vincent, and Nick Gardner are kind of up where we expect them to be in 4th and 5th position. Good run by Timmy there, 39 car in 6th position, Alan Dice in 7th. So
Emanuele didn't get to work his tire magic, and maybe he should take a page out of this book because he's finding himself hunting the top 5 right now. Maybe this is his strategy. He needs a race to go green.
Is that just good flat-out speed here without tire strategy or not?
He's catching up to Nick Gardner.
Yeah, I was about to say, as we've been talking, our leader is only about 1.7 seconds separating them now.
He was caught up in that traffic for a second there.
That's exactly right. We're kind of questioning if they would, get together. but Anthony sure seems to be making some time up.
Look past these 2 cars behind Alex Pelican. On the other side of it, second place right now. We're coming up on 10 to go. 1.43 seconds coming out of turn 4. Alex Pelican, we made it a close finish last week. Are they going to do it again?
Yeah, I don't know if Alex slowing down here on this last run, or if Anthony, or towards the end of the run, or Anthony is saving his tires that much better. We've seen that kind of the entire night. There's only a lap separating them, entire age of how long he's been out on these tires, but the whole run we've seen them just kind of swap positions about halfway, and the way they pit, it should be pretty close to the end, when they should swap again. So it's gonna be exciting to see if any of them save a little bit more for this final run, and you hope you did if you're a fan of either of them, and either way, I think we should get an exciting finish again.
34 car getting loose, and if you're second right now, you did not want to see that. That's a terrifying visual in your front windshield. And I know that the 34 car's been struggling here tonight. He let the 98 go, but man, that'll terrify you as a leader to come up on a car that has been a lap down and see him bounce off the outside wall. 8 laps to go. Alex Pelican still holding on to it, less than a second separating him. And we got another car on the wall. He's just navigating this traffic. Look at this. Anthony Pelican bobbing and weaving, trying to dodge these cars and get up there. 3 car, he's going to pull down. He knows.
Yeah, 98's been about 2/10 faster the last few laps, but man, they've been cutting through so much traffic here. If you're him with that much speed on the leader, you don't want to see a caution. Just throw a wrench and everything. Like I said, jump on a 3, getting down low, letting them race it out. But you see 2 more cars in front of Alex here. So you have to see how much that slows him down. 98's just cooking these last few laps. I think they were about even that last lap. Don't know if 98 had a little bit of traffic, but only 7 to go, 1 second separate them. Got to make up, a little bit more than a 10th each lap if he's gonna even get to him.
Well, 0, Kevin McGarvey in front of the 31 right now. He's right on the bubble. Last car on the lead lap, 13th position. Jacob Locklear worked his way up to 9th position. I called it. Looks like he's hunting up there with the other McGarvey right now. He's got him right in front of him. Might pick off another spot here before the end of it.
And if you're these guys a lap down or so, if you're a guy a lap down, you don't want to get passed by the leader. You want to hold your position, but with 5 to go, you kind of got to understand the circumstance and just let it be. Typically, if it's in the middle of the run or so, you're going to hold up the leader a little bit more than you would second place, but 5 to go, I think you just got to get to the bottom. And hopefully we see these 2 cars do that, because Alex is really wishing these guys just get out of his way. You see Anthony now about 5 or 6 tenths on him. That car's definitely hurt him that time by.
00 racing to the inside. Cody Atkins, Kevin McGarvey. This is for position too, though. And that's unfortunate that these guys they're trying to race each other for spot, and they've also got a leader that's about to put them a lap down. And if the caution does come out, the 8 car is going to be the first one to lap down because the 00 couldn't get by him.
If you're the 31, man, you're just screaming like, "Oh, come on, man, let me by." He has to go to the inside line. You hope he can clear the 8. He can't. Oh man, that's gonna slow him way down here on the straightaway.
That's gonna hurt his run with 4 to go. He's trying to get by, but the 98's also got to do the same thing. Let's see if it pays off and let the 31 and the 8 car.
Look at the run.
Maybe they can box him in. Couldn't do it there in 2.
He's all loose. He's going to sit behind 8. Kind of surprised, try to build a run, but look at the 33. He's going to be on new tires there with that run.
He's got to be having fresher tires. 8 car gets up out of the way. 33 car kind of putting a wrench in everything, but 98's got 2 to go. Is he going to be able to get up there to the Alex Pelican bumper? Did Alex Pelican navigate this traffic just right? 31 car very close to the wall.
I think the 31 car had a lift right there. You saw the flame out the exhaust. Look at the run the 98 got. Coming to white flag here. He's cutting it down. He did the same thing.
He's loose off of 4.
He cut it down. Look at that run he got. He's going to cut the inside, cut the apron.
1 lap to go, side by side. Let's find out if that whole rivalry was put under the rug, or did they figure it out here? 98, 31, side by side. White flag is out. Alex Pelican holding it.
Good run off the center. Oh,
He's
man, for
holding it
98,
up there.
you got to throw it up top, but he's not clear. 31's going to get a run.
I think a door's going to happen here off of 4. What's going to happen? I think
31
someone might cut it down.
Run. 98 cuts the inside.
Another great finish by the Pelican brothers.
Oh, man.
What a finish. If you guys enjoy any of this, just thank the Pelican brothers for putting on an excellent finish. Great job by these two. 31 on the flip side, getting it done this week. I thought we were going to see some door slapping. I thought we were going to see it again. But less than a 1/10 of a second separating those two at the line. Let's go back and watch that previous lap. This is the white flag. They're door to door into 1. Anthony had such a deep run there into 1, and he just couldn't get back on it in time.
He couldn't clear him there, and the outside line is going to prevail. Oh, man, if you're in 98, you had to just send it down in there. I know you want to keep it clean, but... Yeah,
even off this exit right here, I think he got a little loose. If that bobble didn't happen, he might have been able to take it to the apron and carry enough speed. What a finish there at the end. 3rd position tonight. Finishing it up, Daniel Cunningham bringing it home in 3rd. Great run for him tonight. Jeremiah Vincent going to finish 4th. Nick Gardner, 5th position. Timmy Emanuele bringing it home 6th. Thought maybe he'd get up there and sneak past the 16.
Yeah, good run for him either way.
Alan Dice finally putting together a top 10 without having any issues. Jacob Locklear did exactly what I said he was going to do, put that car up in the top 10.
Yeah,
Colin Garvey slid it down into the grass there at the end, but he had a lot of damage, man. I think maybe that was a top 5 car without that nose damage. And then Brett Sommers, who pitted earlier than everyone else, rounding out your top 10. So we got top 3 interviews. We're going to catch up in victory lane. This is BTDY on Drivers Network America. We're going to catch up with him, and we'll be right back after this.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Take whatever you want, and I'll take whatever.
All right, we've caught up down here in BTDY Victory Lane. Dialed in Racing 100. Dialed in up front for 100. Alex Pelican, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
So we saw more of the same as last week, putting on another great show. It came down to the last lap, last turn. You two side by side right there at the end. Did you think it was going to be another door slapper?
I mean, I don't know. He said he wasn't going to, but I mean, I'd have been okay if he did there because he obviously beat me on the long run. Yeah, I just had a good pit road entry and got out in front of him.
Well, we saw you on and off pit road. This thing went green flag to flag, and it seemed like you said, the short run you were faster and you did a better job on and off pit road. But towards the end of the run, he was a little bit quicker than you, and he would chase you down and get clear of you. He didn't have the time that he had in those other two runs, and you navigated that traffic a little bit better.
Yeah, that traffic was tough. Had to navigate quite a bit of it. But I mean, they're racing hard for position, so you can't really complain or anything like that. I mean, they have a race too, so.
A lot of laps led, a lot of laps here in the whole league. You guys putting it up front week in, week out. He started on the pole tonight. Did you think this is how it was going to go, or did you want it to go caution, or was there anything you could have changed that would have made this race better?
I don't think so, honestly. I mean, can't really complain with a pole and a win. So, yeah, overall good night.
Well, congratulations on the win, Alex, and you did a heck of a job. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out and thank for tonight's victory?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to all my dialed in teammates. Anthony there for he may have been able to get to me and just might have been nice for last week. Thanks to Nick and Dennis and Brett, Michael, Nate, who wasn't here for this race, Mark Beverly. Big thanks to you and Eric for broadcasting and doing everything you guys do to get this exposure. And then big shout out to everybody at BTDY for all the work that they put into so we can come out and race.
Well, congratulations. And again, we thank you for your time. We hope to see you next week.
Yes, sir. See you.
Alex Pelican, your victory lane celebration. And I tell you what, man, we're looking back at it right here, side by side, going into one. We're pulling him up now. Eric, take it away with him.
Yeah, Anthony Pelican, I see you come up just so short there. I think you had about a lap fresh tires on them. Just talk about how that traffic probably affected there in that last run, and we saw you be a little bit better on the towards the end of the run there versus the 31, and talk about the night.
Yeah, I tried to save a little bit earlier in each run, just so I had something at the end. Definitely got beat on pit road entry tonight. I think I was 45 miles an hour before I was even off the banking coming to pit road. So I think that's what lost it for me tonight.
Yeah, we've seen I think two or three cars lose it on entry, so it might have been a good thing for you there. But that final corner there, I was just yelling for you to clear them. And you think about maybe opening the wheel up a little bit, getting to the side of them? Think maybe that could have got you the win there.
I probably could have done it, but I used my one freebie last week, so I figured I better not.
Yeah, man. Well, either way, we appreciate a good race you guys put on there with different tire strategy and tire saving there. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to all the guys that dialed in racing. Alex for racing me clean. Man, I wish I could have had that one back, but we'll move on to next week at Watkins Glen. I don't know. Hopefully, I just stay somewhere where I can see Alex's back bumper there. Probably not going to happen, but I'll put my money on Alex winning next week.
All right, man. We just gonna keep cheering for more finishes like that. Last 2 weeks, man, y'all put on a show. So great job. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Second place finisher, Anthony Pelican. And man, like you said, it's just another great finish. These guys putting on a great show and kept it green through the entire race. I think this is the first one that's went clean to green, flag to flag. So kudos to these guys for being able to pull that off.
Yeah, great race.
So we're hustling down pit road. We got Daniel Cunningham, and I'm trying to move him up. Looks like I'm having a hard time. There we go. Daniel Cunningham, we caught up with you on pit road. Third place tonight. Tell you, man, that green flag run, it just, as it went, those guys stretched it out a little bit further, but you were able to hunt up there and get up into the top three.
Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't be disappointed with third, but 3 straight weeks finishing third to Anthony and Alex in no particular order. Those guys are always wicked fast. I guess I got the right sponsor on the card, just not being happy with finishing on the podium. But yeah, it was a good night. I felt like early on in the race I had better long run speed than short run speed. Kind of fell back a little on the initial start and got most of those spots back as we went through that first green flag run. But track changed a little bit near the end. It seemed like the bottom was coming in a little bit more. It was a little bit, not necessarily faster, but you could make equal time as you could up on the top line for a lot longer. Wasn't quite able to figure out how to wrap the bottom like some of those guys. Even before the last stop, Dallas and I were racing pretty well, and he was just able to wrap the bottom a lot better than I was. But yeah, overall good night. Can't be too disappointed with the finish.
Well, we saw you're one of the few guys that were running that bottom, and I was kind of hoping that the fuel strategy would work out. Running that inside line seemed to save fuel. At least it did in the other leagues that I've seen. And do you think that if you stuck it down there the whole race, that maybe you could have stuck it out there a couple more laps and had a better advantage?
You are right. It definitely does save you a little bit of fuel when you're on the bottoms. You just got more off throttle time than when you're up on the top groove and just standing in a little bit more. But with the fuel runs that we do, I want to say, or fuel loads that we do, I want to say it's 80% fuel. Think we were about 8 to 10 laps short to make it a one-stop race with the fuel capacity we had. So I don't even think if we would have been able to run the bottom more, it would have really come into play. Probably would have had to have had an early caution or something like that to make it where you're borderline on making it on one more stop, about 10 or 15 laps in or so, to really have that strategy come into play with it.
Well, get rowdy. Third position, dude. And I know it wears on you coming in third, but that's 3 weeks in a row. And, if these same guys are finishing in the top two, you're locked into the chase at that point with these top threes.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I was just thinking to myself before the race, between all the leagues that I run, I think I've had something like 15 or 20 top 5 finishes since I won my last race. So it definitely does start to wear on you a little bit. I mean, it's good that I've been running up here and had the speed to compete. Eventually if you're that close long enough, you're going to have things fall your way, whether it's strategy or just outright speed one week or, whatever it is. You're going to have the cards fall your way sooner or later. So just got to keep knocking on the door. Eventually it'll open, or we'll kick it open, one or the other.
Well, there you go, man. Kick the door open. We'll see you next week at Watkins Glen. And sorry if that killed it for you, but yeah, that's where we're headed.
Hey, no, I'm happy. I'm not the best road course racer. I don't expect to finish third at next week by any stretch, but I love Watkins Glen. It's probably my favorite road course that NASCAR runs. So definitely looking forward to it. I love that place.
All right, Daniel, before we let you go, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out to down here on pit road?
Yeah, appreciate you guys as always putting on the broadcast. I think I told you last couple of weeks, y'all do a phenomenal job with it. I always go back and watch them. Thanks to the other guys in Loaded Dice Racing. It's always fun hanging out with them, trying to one up each other in practice, qualifying in the race, just competing against each other. And, thanks to my wife for letting me come down here and race 5 nights a week overall, 2 nights in this league, 3 elsewhere. So appreciate her letting me come do this all the time. And, thanks to Rowdy Energy as always.
10 for it, and we hope to see you next week. And hey, go out there and show us what you can do on the road course. I think you got it in you.
Sir, appreciate it.
There's Daniel Cunningham. I tell you, man, it's been great finishes the last 2 weeks. We're getting spoiled. Watkins Glen's going to be a different story. A lot of turns to mess it up. You've got 11 opportunities to make a mistake, and there won't be 4 full course cautions either.
Yeah, just probably going to be a similar race to tonight. Real traditionalist type of race. Green flag runs the entire way through, and all to put on a great finish. I think with pit strategy is probably going to be really close to each other for next week, but I'm sure the Pelican brothers will find a way to put on a good show, and hopefully we'll get more of the same.
Well, let's go through your standings for this top 43 race, and 26 cars made the field. 27 actually. Let's start from the top. Alex Pelican pulling it off. Let's look at that finishing gap. You see how close that was? Let's go back one lap and let's just see it, because I know this was a close finish. Let's say it was less than 100th of a second. Right now, timing and scoring is all broken, but 100th of a second. We'll go with that. Second position, Anthony Pelican. Third spot, Daniel Cunningham. Jeremiah Vincent, fourth. Nick Gardner, fifth. Timmy Emanuele pulling off a top 10 tonight, getting that sixth spot. Alan Dice, seventh. Jacob Locklear, eighth. Kyle McGarvey, ninth position. And Brett Summers rounding out your top 10. Hello from the 19 pit, 11th spot tonight. Cody Atkins in 12th position. We're actually getting into cars that were a lap down right there at the end. Kevin McGarvey in 13th. There's only 11 cars finished in on the lead lap. That's shows you how fast that 31 and 98 were. Josiah Vincent going to bring it home in 14th. Bit of bad luck there early in the race. Michael Newman going to bring it home 15th. Kind of a rebound for where he was starting tonight in the 24th position. 16th will be Jordan Brockell, Jordan Scheffler in 17th, Dallas Sullivan 18th, Thomas Brendel 19th, Kyle M. Payne 20th, 21st, Justin Carey, Dennis Steele 22nd, Mark Beverly 23rd, 24th, Dennis Faircloth. Tough night for him tonight. Another tough night. Started 6th, 24th. He's gonna turn it around. He has to. 25th, Robert Gilmore. 26th, Nicholas Starling parked it early, and rounding out the field of cars that ran, Christopher Santoni put some laps down, but he's gonna be scored as 85 laps down before the end of this. So next week, Watkins Glen, turning left, turning right. It's gonna be a lot of action. Full course cautions turned off. You got a bus stop chicane. You got a carousel. You got last turn that's really loose, and then you got turn 1 where you're going about $170 before you hit it. These guys are going to shape up. You're going to find different names up front. But Alex Pelican, he's been doing really well. I think he's going to carry this momentum into next week.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to be right on that. Should see some new guys towards the front, being a road course. But, Watkins Glen is probably my favorite road course that any of the stock cars come to, so should put on a good show, and hopefully we'll get another good finish.
Well, BTDY, Drivers Network America, thank you for watching this broadcast, flag to flag here at Dialed In Racing 100 at Kansas. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share these links. Helps us out tremendously. And I'd like to thank Eric Hutton yet again for coming up here and helping me with the broadcast, making this a bearable experience. I know it's very boring to talk to yourself for 2 hours. Wrapping it up before 10 o'clock. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, signing off. Take care. See you next week. Ryan McGarvey on the bottom, 46. Dallas Sullivan has the room to push here. 80 car shoving hard. There's the block. There's the block into the outside wall. 746 wrecking now. 80 car maybe having to move. There's the block again. Oh,